So here we are, a college basketball season that started way back in November. We have reached the Final Four, and I've got your complimentary play coming up on the Duke Houston game in just a second. As you know, it has been a phenomenal run here on the video report with the complimentary plays, but especially in the big dance. Overall run 42 and 14. That's all sports combined, winning 22 of my last 28. But in the dance, 15 and 3. 15 and 3. So that complimentary play is coming up in just a moment. But first, guys, Al DeMarco here, General Manager, DeMarcosports.com. Yes, like you could tell, let's do a little housekeeping. First of all, you noticed I didn't do a video report on Friday for a simple reason. There was nothing I liked other than the play that I used over on DeMarcosports.com. The easiest way to keep track of when I have the video report is to subscribe. I'm not soliciting you. This just sends you a cute little announcement that when my video goes live. So if you want to subscribe, you can do so down there in the corner. Number two, some of you may wonder, those annoying YouTube ads. I don't profit on them. Listen, I subscribe to YouTube Premium because I hate those damn YouTube ads, okay? They drive me nuts when I'm watching YouTube. I have never monetized the channel. Never. Even back in the days when you used to have a show on foxsports.com and used to get 100,000 views for a show. Never monetized the channel because I just don't need the money and I don't care. It's the reason why you don't see any fancy graphics. I can edit. My God, I used to work as an editor in TV. I can edit like crazy, but I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to have the little flashing zings coming across the screen. You're not going to see some beautiful graphics at the top. You're not going to see me edit out. Oh, by the way, do you not hate this, by the way, when you can clearly see somebody on YouTube or any type of video program production where you can see that they edit out their mistakes and there's hardly any breath between their words? It drives me nuts as a guy who used to edit all the time. So again, I don't waste my time. It's just me talking to you, giving you information, giving you hopefully some free picks, and more importantly, good gambling advice. And then the final piece of housekeeping. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new member of the Cockroach Club. It has been a while, but we do have one. And ladies and gentlemen, the name is J Stones 84. Yes, JH. By the way, you've been blocked from the channel because you forgot the basic principle. I'm God here. You aren't. You're a peon. You're a nobody. But Jay Stones, 2 days ago, when my video report had a loser, unfortunately, with the Orlando Magic against the Washington Wizards. Yes, I lost that game. And remember, going into that play, I was only on a 42 and 13 run, winning 22 of my previous 27, and I lost that play. But Jay took it upon himself to send a comment that said, "It took you 6 minutes for all that BS?" Well, yes, Jay, because you forgot. I'm God here and I can do what I want, and your opinion is worthless. But we live in America. You have freedom of choice. You don't have to watch. But you were a loser anyway at the outset because you were only watching to get the latest free play. Again, if you look at the bottom of the videos, there are chapters. I take a lot of time in making sure that everybody can know exactly where the free pick is, what I'm talking about at different stages of the video. You don't have to stay around for 6 minutes, Jay. You could have just jumped to the free pick and gotten it. End of story. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the latest Cockroach Club because I like to have fun. I really ought to have some t-shirts printed up, some hats. Then I could wear the Cockroach Club hat instead of wearing the Yankees hat, and I'm not even a fan of the Yankees hat, but unfortunately my hair hasn't grown back yet, where they excised a little too much as far as I'm concerned. But that's another story for another day. So let's get to your complimentary play today. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. This Duke Houston game is tough. And look at the lines, depending on where you play. You can get this line anywhere from 4.5, even a 4 out there, up to 5.5 to 6. That is the spread for this game. Now, you know I have Duke advancing to the championship game on Monday. I think Duke wins this game. The question is, can Duke cover? And that's all that really matters here, correct? You have a Duke team that everybody says, well, they're inexperienced. Are they really that inexperienced after 30 some games? And it's not like they're an inexperienced team coming from the Mountain West Conference or the Horizon League. they do play quality basketball in the ACC, even if it wasn't a vintage ACC season. It's like, okay, they didn't come from the SEC. Does this mean Cooper Flag and all these uber talented freshmen, they're going to suddenly wilt under the pressure of playing in a Final Four game? No, I don't think so. They obviously dispatched Alabama with ease, beating them by 20, beat Arizona by 8 in a game that really wasn't as close as the final score indicated. And they took care of business against Baylor by 23. They've got size, they've got depth, they've got outstanding ball handlers. But of course, that youth is going to be their downfall today because they've got 3 freshman starters that anybody else in D1 ball would absolutely kill to have any of them on their team. Then you've got Houston. And listen, I give you props, Houston, for beating Gonzaga, which, Gonzaga was a tough, tough foe. Beating Purdue by 2, I don't know. The Boilermakers really weren't that good, if you ask me. Beating Tennessee by 19, not a surprise at all, because I thought that Tennessee was in a letdown situation anyway after a double revenge win against Kentucky, and I just not really that impressed by the Volunteers all season. But it is a veteran-oriented squad with 4 returning starters from last year's team that got knocked out by Duke in the Sweet 16. And of course, they added L.J. Cryer, who is a veteran coming from Baylor, who has played so much in the tournament. You've got the number 1 defense in the country going against a team in Duke whose offensive efficiency, like over the last 30 years, is ranked number 1 over at KenPom.com. What is Duke's biggest advantage here, I think, going into this game? Their ability to hit 3-point shots against a Houston defense that has proven to be vulnerable defending the perimeter, especially in this tournament. Duke, nearly 45% of their field goal attempts in the ACC this year came from beyond the arc. And they hit it nearly a 40% clip. And, you look at their success so far here in the dance, they've shot extremely well from deep. Now, all 4 of Houston's foes that they have played so far here in the tournament have attempted at least 23 pointers. So ultimately comes down to, can Duke hold their own on the boards? It's something they've done well at times this year when they put their minds to it, and other times the effort has been waning because Houston is going to do well and they're going to grab their share of offensive rebounds. Can Duke consistently hit from the outside? I think also the thing here is you see that Duke can apply the defensive pressure when they want to, and I don't think Duke gets the credit that it deserves defensively. Think about the Alabama game. Alabama wants to play up-tempo. That's all Alabama does. They don't play any defense, and that's why they're not participating in the tournament at this stage. But you saw how Duke put the clamps on Alabama. I went back and forth. I'm just going to be honest with you. I went back and forth in this game. I thought Duke, and then I switched over to Houston, thinking let's grab the points. I ultimately think, though, I always believe in going with my first inclination. I think that over the years that when I've switched off my first inclination, that's when it's cost me money. So I'm going to ride Duke. Naturally, I'm going to shop around. If I can get that 4 and 4.5 rather than paying 5.5, I'm not stupid, guys. So Duke is going to be the play. I'm going to find it to be a fascinating game to watch. And I think that, I just don't think that Houston's going to be able to get it done. Because ultimately, even though Houston is a better team this year, shooting the 3 ball that anyone gives it the respect it deserves, I think Kelvin Sampson's team will not be able to get the job done. And I think Duke's bigs will ultimately be the difference. So Duke is going to be the play. Listen, I told you what the record was. You're well aware of it with the comp plays in the dance, winning 15 out of 18. This might be the weakest of all those complimentary plays in the tournament. Just an FYI. With that being said, guys, I wish you well, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.